I'm your co-host, Kenny Buller.
I'ma clap the trappers, cause y'all in the for them actors.
Welcome on the Second Floor Podcast.
I've been rolling around with all my goons and all my savages. I just want the
We would have dreamt of something like this, and here it is.
Ray Ray with the heaters, got the track sounding immaculate. Looking kinda dapper, but it be chillin'. This don't matter about my business, so I speak.
All right, my man. Let's do this, brother. Let's go. All right, so this is a very exciting day for me, everybody. It's your co-host here, Kenny Buller, on the Second Floor Podcast. And we have the one and only Lucas Hulk Barbosa in the house.
Let's go.
How you doing, brother?
Good, man.
Good,
Happy
man.
to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Anytime, man. I'm very excited, man, to have you inside of our academy, Brave MMA and Fitness. And, you know, for those who don't know Lucas, if you're not in the jiu-jitsu world, then I need to do a quick introduction. Lucas Hulk Barbosa is a multi-international champion in jiu-jitsu, was ranked at one point in time #1 in the IBJJF records, and has won multiple international titles in jiu-jitsu and is still going. You know, like you're not taking any breaks, man. You're going, you know, full speed ahead. And a part of today's conversation before we have our seminar is to get to know a little bit, man, of, you know, a little bit of the journey, but also, man, like the balance between you coaching now and being an athlete. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people say how tough it can be to do both. I feel like you're doing an incredible job juggling it. But like, man, let's dive in. Let's start with that.
Let's go.
Yeah, you know what? Before we even start right now, I want everyone to know that very soon, Lucas Hulk Barbosa is going to start his own channel. Yeah. And we're thinking about calling it Barbosa's Buffet.
What an idea. That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah,
exactly.
Like
but like, stay tuned, man, because this guy's going to be amazing on and off camera, right?
It's going to come.
And for those out there that are listening that might be coaching in jiu-jitsu and also still trying to aspire to be an athlete, it's not an easy feat. So I want to, you know, pick Lucas's brain on that, and of course give you a warm welcoming before our seminar.
Man. Thank you. Appreciate it for the invitation. I'm happy to be here. First time in Edmonton, and you know, teaching with you. I'm gonna train with you guys. We got to train a little bit. Yeah, it was good. It was good. But yeah, man. This is like being like a new phase for me, you know, like I used to be only on the competition scenes of just like training and compete. I always joke with Galvão sometimes, like, hey man, good times when I used to only like compete, because now I have my own gym. It's so hard. But you know, it's a different path in life now. You know, I feel that as soon as, like, you know, I had that time of like I was competing a lot and conquer many titles, and I felt there was a point, you know, that now I was like, man, maybe it's time for me to open my own school, and let's see how this is gonna go. This is a new experience for me, and I'm leaving this right now, and man, it is really hard, because when you start being you're a competitor, you know, where's your goal is to beat winning, to beat the best, and you don't accept losing it, right? It's part of the game, losing, but you know, but you always wanna win. And when now I'm in that, you know, business area, for me, I feel the same. It's like I want to be the best, you know. I want to work hard, so it takes a little bit from me. But man, yeah, it's a different experience. It's totally different, you know, of just being a competitor. You have to juggling over there, and man, I'm still finding my way, you know, out there. You know, like I opened my school like 2 years ago, and I feel that I've been doing pretty good. I'm keep like improving, keep getting better. Like the gym is, as soon as you start achieving a point, you know, like that, okay, you found the recipe for your gym, and now we're just going to maintain that. Now, like, you have those time. We have time for you to work a lot and fix those things, or your business, but you know, and that would be time for you to actually, you know what, now it's time to focus on this. So I'm finding my way now on focus on getting back to the fighting scene, man. You know, that's what I miss. That's what I love. You know, like I love competing. There used to be a time that I used to compete every weekend. You know, and this used to be such a good thing for me. And because I opened my own school, and I was like, you know, it's like take care of like the gym, and then trying to compete and trying to get a preparation. But you know, now I'll start finding my way back to the regular schedule.
I really love, man, how you look at with competing. you know, you said you wanted to be the best and continue to do so. And now with running your own gym, you want to continue to be the best in that. I'm curious to know, because I feel like even lately, man, like how I view being the best gym owner, it just continues to change as I'm starting to put more time into it. Like, what are some things that you view as the best in terms of the coach and gym owner you are now? Like, what are some of those things that you're tracking where you're like, man, I need to make sure, like, maybe it's, I need to have, you know, X amount of students coming in. Maybe it's, okay, this many students need to be showing up. There needs to be a standard to the competition team. Like, what are some things you've kind of viewed? I think
it is really good for you to have, like, as many students you have, the best for you, right? More money. But for me, what I preach the most at my school is the quality, you know, because when they see like Lucas Barbosa, you know, or Atos Jiu-Jitsu, they expect somebody to be really good, you know. So one thing that I really care about is like the classes that I'm building. If I'm like be able to give the students the best experience and the best curriculum for they can be, you know, also be able to learn a good jiu-jitsu and go out there and represent. You know, the vibe that I bring into my gym is that vibe that we have, the same vibe, like the family friendly environment. You know, I like this because, you know, that's what I want to be surrounded around those people. And, you know, and this is one of the things that I want, like, this is the vibe and the curriculum that I'm teaching. Like, I don't care if I like have like class, as long as I'm like giving those students the best jiu-jitsu, you know, with their learning properly and they're having a good time on the mat. For me, that's what makes it happen on my business. Of course, you start like improving, you want to get better, you know, but just like I say, it's one step at a time, you know. And for me right now, when I say like, oh, I found the recipe, you know, it's like now, like I got into a point that I was like, okay, now I started understanding more of this thing, and now I know how can I like keep this thing running, you know, the way that I want. On the beginning, it was just like, because when I opened my own school, man, it was like nothing planned. It was just like, it just came everything together. It's like, oh, like, you know, I have like, oh, got an opportunity to open up a school. And now, you know, like, I'm just going to move there because, you know, and I was like, everything just, but man, I never studied, you know, like how to open up a jiu-jitsu school. I didn't know what is going on. And then after I started talking to Angelica King, I was just like, man, please help me. What can I do this? How can I do this? What should I do? You know, but they helped me a lot. You know, I'm really thankful for that, for having like those mentors in my life, which is important. And yeah, man, and now it's doing better. I feel like, man, like with you talking about the vibe and like the overall curriculum, that right there is a testament to, I feel like, two things, right? Your skill, so like how much you actually feel like you know jiu-jitsu, right? And accolades aside, like we know that you're the right fit for it because of what you've done as an athlete. But then, man, like here's the other thing. The vibe is your personality. And I love that you talked about that, man, because, you know, for me, even going through the hoops of different academies over time and, you know, eventually finding the right place and knowing that every gym has a culture to it. Exactly. Right? Sometimes you can't even put words to it. You just walk into a club and you kind of feel the vibe. But a lot of that is insinuated by the instructor's personality, right? Correct. And, you know, like attracts like. You're going to automatically start bringing in people who want to keep showing up and see a side of you that they either like or they're similar to. Right. And I hope people feel that energy from you even just watching this, because, man, when you talked to me first time on the phone, I was like, man, like, I feel like I've known Barbosa all my life, right? Like, I'm ready to like break bread with him. Exactly. So I think it's really cool, man, that like you talk about that, because I think that's something a lot of aspiring gym owners and anyone running a gym needs to be aware of, is like, yes, you should know the material, but now pay attention to how you're delivering it. Yes. And who you are as a person. Correct. You know, and it's all the little things like saying hi to everybody when you walk in, and, you know, asking people how their day is going, and not being in such a rush to kick them out. Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like you know, like if you're training here is because you belong to this place. I always tell people like, hey man, look, take your time, do your trial, just feel the vibe, just feel how the training is. If this is the place that you feel like it, we'd be happy to have you here. If you're not, I totally understand, because you want to like people to be happy at that place. Like if the vibe doesn't match you, of course you're gonna find another gym that it's your profile, and then that's where you should go. It should be, and because jiu-jitsu gyms, man, like today, I feel that every jiu-jitsu gym that they just like I was mentioning to you, like they have their own style, they have their own vibe, and of course you're gonna find yourself on the spot that you're gonna be very welcome, and that's what I preach. And it is important. It is important for me to deliver a good class. And one of the things that I get from people is like, they're like, yeah man, I never expect for you to be a good instructor. I'm always improving. I'm improving, right? But the thing is, there's a lot of jiu-jitsu fighters out there. They're like multiple time champions. They conquer all this, but man, when you put them into the class, they don't know how to deliver it. They don't know how to make a great class. And sometimes you can be a good competitor, but you can be a good instructor. And sometimes the opposite. You're probably not a good competitor, but you're a great instructor. And I've been seeing a lot of guys, and I still learn from this today, because I have 7 instructors at my gym, and man, I learn from each all of them. They always have something. You have to be open to learn. From here, jiu-jitsu, that's what it is. That makes you humble. It makes you always be able to learn from anyone. I see my instructors teaching is like, yeah man, that's cool. And I started like picking up the way they do. It's like, that's interesting. Yeah, I learned from that. I learned like some type of word. It's like the way they teach, or like it is interesting for me, because like I'm still improving, and I keep improving on this area, and I want to be the best as I can be. And just like you too, I saw you over there after training. You doing the private. I was like, that's cool, because it makes you like you always want to improve. You still can be able to deliver a good class to your students, show them like something different, and it makes this is how jiu-jitsu is, man. It's so endless. Man, it's endless. Jiu-jitsu is endless. That's the good thing about it.
I agree, brother. Like the thing is, the learning never stops, and I love how you mentioned that, because I feel like it's now, obviously it's my job now to make sure that like I'm consistently learning, and I'm able to apply that and potentially direct it over to my students, right? And I find in a weird way, man, like the coaching makes you better as an athlete. Like it forces you to know why you're doing things, right? Like I love, man, like when a student goes, Kenny, like why do I put my hand here? I'm like, fuck, why do you put your hand there? But I start actually genuinely being like, I see, like, the importance of this is so that it prevents them from being able to pass or move their leg, right? For you, I think what's really exciting, because I'm sure other coaches and just students would want to learn, like, what your style of coaching is like, right? Because to your point, right, every coach has their own methodology. Maybe it's passed on from, other coaches. But, like, guide me through, man, and our guests, what a typical class structure is like. And maybe it could be different from what you're teaching perhaps to beginners to what you're used to when you're preparing for, Pan Ams. But like, I'd love to know both, man, because I'm genuinely curious. I'm always trying to see what other ways I can improve as a coach. But also, man, for me, like, preparing for Worlds in a few months, like maybe see from your training camps and your style of coaching, what works to be prepared.
To be prepared for the class, for the competition.
Yeah, man. I guess there's like two different like sides there. Like the one side is, what's a typical class structure like for you that you teach? Maybe just for everybody, right, from beginning to end. And then like what a typical training camp structure.
They're definitely different. They're different. Like you wanna, because you wanna work. Most of the people at the gym, they're hobbyists. Of course, like the environment that I bring also, it's like you welcome to be a hobbyist, but also you're also motivated to be a competitor. If you want to, I'm here, you know, and I want people to have this, you know, have this feeling. And, you know, like, of course, like on the regular classes, I teach them like with the fundamentals and with a class, I still try to give them a goal, you know, like for them like to be able to, because sometimes if just like leaving people to do like, okay, just do whatever, it is good, but yeah, but I try like to always like enforce them like just to push it a little bit, like of course like on your pace, and but for competition class it's totally different, you know, like we bring these people and just like we build a specific training, we just go, you know. But I try to separate this, you know, and I enjoy training on the both classes, you know. That's the good thing, because it makes me, you know, like be more flow when I train with the hobbyists, because, you know, I feel comfortable in playing a different guard, playing a different game, you know, and then just be on the competition team, the class, and, you know, it's just so tense. You just want to win all the time, and sometimes you don't want to risk that much because you might lose a position or this and that. You know, it's a little tense. But, you know, I like to be combined both classes, you know, like for me to train competition classes and the regular classes, you know, that. But yeah, I always try to deliver this for my students, you know, like you know, they can be able to have a good time on the mat, but also for them to be better every time, you know, like try to push yourself, of course, with your pace. If you're hurt, don't do it, but you know, trying to have this, like if like I give them like sometimes like a goal, like gotta do 3 rounds at least today. You know, like it doesn't matter if you have to do 1 and rest 2, as long as you do 3 rounds, you're good to go. And if you can keep going, you can keep going, you know. But yeah, that's how I pretty much build my my training and how I separate classes, the style that I teach. Does that make sense?
Oh no, of course I see it. Do you feel like when someone's really new, let's say it's their first day or first month, do you allow them to roll? Do you give them the opportunity to do it, or do you wait on that for some people? It's always interesting to hear.
I wait for a little bit, because, you know, I try to give them you know, like make them learn the fundamentals of jiu-jitsu first, you know, like what a jiu-jitsu is for, not only for, because you can use it as a sport. That's how people start keep going as a hobbyist, you know. And then also I want to give that vision that it's also for a self-defense. And after they learn those movements, and then I was like, all right, you're ready.
Like once they know enough.
Yes, they know enough. Yeah, you have to, that's the thing about being a gene owner, you know, like sometimes I was like, when I opened the school, I was like, man, why nobody's here? And I was like, they don't know Lucas Barbosa.
Where's everybody?
No, but even I was like, man, like, what is the mat's not packed, you know? But then there's a lot of things beyond that, you know, like there's a lot of people that don't know you, and especially the white belts, they don't like, oh, they're just going to go to the gym. They think it's just a gym. But how are you going to trap this person over there? You know, you have to understand, you have to build curriculums. You have to put them in specific classes so they can be able to, you know, stay at your gym.
Well, man, that's just it. Like I'm noticing now for me lately, like I have a kind of opposing perspective. Like I'll put people in pretty soon. Like even I tell people their first class, I'm like, like it's up to you, but only do the sequence you learned today. Yeah, that's it. And then if you're in a situation where you don't know how to get out, tap. Yeah, like, no ego. But some people, right, human nature, I don't want to get out, and they're hurting themselves.
Exactly.
Right?
That's why I don't put them to do the to roll first. I want that to get the expectations. Like, all right, you're gonna get that. Don't worry, you know. But first, they have to learn how to shrimp, how to make a front roll. Because, man, sometimes if you don't know, if the students come just today, they don't know how to do a front roll. They're like, man, jiu-jitsu is not for me. Because if I cannot do a front roll, how am I gonna come do that armbar? You know, they're gonna think about it. It's like, ooh, maybe that's why they don't sign up. So I have like the specific classes. Man, jiu-jitsu, it is like there's a lot of things. You know, when you open a school, you have to, that's where I start understanding, because just like I said, I as soon as I opened my school, I was like, man, why my this mat is it's not packed. I'm the I'm the fucking man here in this town. And I was like, what the fuck?
I'm number
And people
one.
was like, yeah, what is you guys here? It's like start walking the street. Look, you know me?
That's what, yeah. Be like, come on, you recognize my face? Google
And I
me.
was like, who are you? No,
That's
but
so funny.
but that's the thing. But it goes. There's a lot of thing behind it. Like start learning as an instructor, as a businessman as well.
Yeah,
Like I'm
big
still
time.
learning. I will say like I'm about to get my blue belt in business.
Ah, there you go.
But just like I said, I'm a very competitor. I'm competitive, so I like to be learning. I like to be improving, and I want to be the best. And for my business, the same. I want to be good at my business, but also I want to be good. Like everywhere I go, I want to be good at it.
Man, that's so cool. Like, what do you feel like, man, is like the most rewarding moment of your jiu-jitsu career? Like from the moment you put on that white belt to like looking at where you're at now with, the achievements you made as an athlete to, coaching now, running your gym. Do you have like one that just comes first to mind where years from now, you're going to look back on maybe one particular moment and go, this was something I'll always carry with me?
Yeah, man, it's the admiration of, what people they have for me. It's like, man, like having received texts of people like, man, you're my favorite fighter, or man, you just inspired me to get back at jiu-jitsu. Those things, like, it's way more than titles, man. And transforming lives. When I'm able to, to teach people and they get out of that class, happier. For me, that's like the rewarding thing, because like there's a lot of shit going out here, like people like afraid to do this and that, because the world is crazy. But man, if you start thinking about too much, you're not gonna do anything, you're not gonna enjoy life. And when people come to my classes or to jiu-jitsu, and I feel that I changed their lives through jiu-jitsu, because that's pretty much what I say. Like everybody has. You have your, how can I say, your destiny, right? And then for me, I think that I found my way to impact people's life throughout jiu-jitsu, change their lives through jiu-jitsu, help them through jiu-jitsu. And for me, when I help them somehow of being happy, of feel good, of just like for me, that's what the rewarding things is, when I feel that they're happier with just with the impact that I gave through jiu-jitsu, like.
Man, I love that. Genuinely, like I was totally expecting perhaps you wanting to talk about one of your like achievements through winning as an athlete, but it speaks volumes of like your character.
Medals. There's a lot of guys out there, they win medals. But man, if you're not good a role model as an athlete for the people, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. Like what do you mean? Like you have to impact people's life somehow, and you have to motivate them. You have to make their lives better. If you're just a shitty person, like you see like fighters that are in jail are not like he just was just a good fighter. It was really good, but what did he end up?
Yeah.
So now it's like there's a lot of things that's going on. I think that the best way for you to you're here in this life to to make things better, to change people's life.
Yeah, look at
you
like
have to help people somehow. So
it's so true, man. Like look at the way we respect our coaches and the people that have led the way for us. And when you start recognizing that people call you that, you start recognizing how you need to show up, not only for yourself but for them too. Like, man, I let ego really get in the way for me, because my dream, I used to say, one day, I want to run my own gym. And here we are. But to be honest, man, I used to think I had to become a world champion to run a gym. I thought I had to build my name, right? And the irony, look, like, even if and when that happens, it's like still you can expect a line to be out the door similar to what you've experienced. But it's like, as much as that is still something I want to do, it actually is kind of like a different story. It's like that's the athlete in me. And the coach in you is kind of like facilitating a whole other role.
Yeah, that's how you impact people's life, man. Because man, you win titles, and the next, like you win, man. Many times it's just like I won titles today, and in a month people already forget. It's like they're just there to give you that medal. But what it makes it, what is like the way you impact people's life, through it, you know, like how, like, oh, I'm gonna open jiu-jitsu school, and then you make that guy who was just depressed at home, you know, and not includes with the people, and now here he has just come to the mat and start making friends and make their life better. This is how you change lives. Yeah. That's what it important, you know. That guy is gonna thank you for the rest of your life, you know, and like how like for you to give the opportunity for them to enjoy this, you know. And this is for me, like when I started opening the school, and I started people like thanking me for like, man, I can't believe you came to this small town here, and I like thank you for this, please don't leave. It's like, no, man.
I'll come back next year, man.
Yeah. But this is, I just wish I could do this like everywhere in the world, you know. But that's why I do doing the seminars. When I go seminars to people, I try to give the best, like for me to then, you know, like to see the experience, how to be on my classes, how the way I fight, you know, but, you know, like making their jiu-jitsu skills better, but also make them having a good time on the mat with me, you know. And that's what is cool about it. It's really cool about it, you know. When I get there, like seeing like this, I have this guy who he's a 50-something-year-old man, 54, 55, and he's like, man, I'm so thankful for you for coming and open the gym here, like next to my house. You know, he's like, he's like, like he comes every day, and then, man, he's
changed his life.
Yeah, he changed his life.
Right?
He's like, man, like I'm at work at my clinic. He's like, I'm just looking at my watch the whole time. He's like, I can't wait to be there. I was like counting hours to be at the gym. It was like, yeah, man. And then this is what it is, man. That's what it makes me, you know, like enjoying my work.
The purpose becomes so much
higher,
higher,
the purpose.
Right? I love that, man. Like that's what makes it even more exciting to show up.
Yeah.
Because like, hey, like the family it creates, right? Many people who do jiu-jitsu know that. Like, you know, your teammates, your coach, they become like brothers and sisters to you, you know?
Yes.
I want to kind of flip the script a little bit because, you know, earlier we were talking about on the way here, like moments of adversity, and I was sharing with you a little bit of, you know, what I've gone through in life through, you know, MMA and, you know, through my job break, how I came out of that. And I just want to know, man, like what would have been something on your end in life, perhaps even related to jiu-jitsu, where had it not happened to you, you wouldn't show up the way you do today and the way you are. Like something in life where, you know, it was tough, it was hard, it was everything you can imagine one wouldn't want to go through, but because you went through it, you know, you persevered and you saw like the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. You know, what would that adversarial moment be for you?
Man, that for me, I like to think about that, because, you know, when I try and experience the lowest part, you know, of life, it makes me I think it makes me feel like proud of myself for overcoming those moments, you know, and I take the time to really meditate about that and start figuring out life, because life is like jiu-jitsu, man, you know. Jiu-jitsu, if you see, like sometimes you're gonna be on bottom, the guy's gonna start beat you up, and then this is how life it is. Life is gonna beat you up. And then it's just like jiu-jitsu, but you have to be patient, start thinking about the next move, what you're going to do, not get desperate, you know, escaping your hips, moving, get it out, recover, and then you go over the top. And that's how it is. You know, I have to like find ways to get out of this bad situation. And when I think about that, it makes me want to actually be there and experience the full thing, you know. And then I do definitely want to be experience that, because every time like I feel that when I reach that level, if I haven't reached that level in the next adversity, and then I was like, okay, it's not that bad. I can do this again. You know, it's not gonna hurt me anymore. Like, but you know, like you have to be able to learn, you know, from your mistakes, and you have to be able to improve and be patient, man. Patient is if you don't have patience, and then that's not because it creates a lot of things, in those moments. You learn how to have discipline, how to be patient, And
did you have a moment in particular that like happened to you in life where you felt that, or it's kind of tough to think of?
I've been a few moments, in life that got me into this, and I have to know how to overcome. And then, but I do, like you have to deal with injuries, which is sucks in the sport, like it always give you those negative thoughts about it, like, oh my God, never gonna come back, or what's going on, like injury is like the most common thing on our area. But plus you have like financial stuff, and then you have like personal stuff, maybe at home, or like girlfriend, wife, or whatever. There's always like a problem for you to be able to fix it,
of course,
and in those moments that you have to be able to bring your fighter spirit, your fighting spirit of like, what, I'm not giving up, I'm not gonna tap it, and I'll just keep that discipline of like, hey, I'm gonna make things just like that way. I'm gonna be patient, and then I'm gonna start every day, little by little, improving. Finding a way to get out of that position.
It's crazy because jiu-jitsu puts you in those situations where, like you said, you're on bottom, you have someone stuffing their face into yours, and you just get used to I like to say embracing the suck.
Yes.
Like you're in a shitty situation, but like, for how long is this gonna last?
I know.
Like we'll be able to weather out this storm. So it's interesting, man. It's very interesting. I want to know, man, like what made you go, you know what? Like, fuck everything else, I'm doing jiu-jitsu. Did you have that? Was that kind of there? Or when you first started, you're like, man, like, I don't know much about that. I'd love to learn.
Yeah. No. So when I started, when I started doing jiu-jitsu, I did for, it took me a month to start liking jiu-jitsu because I was pretty much forced to do it. It was like, shit, I don't want to do it.
It took me like 3 years. Like, I was like, I have to do this because I'm doing MMA. So right? I respect that.
I know. For me, like when the first month I was just like in vacation at my uncle's house playing with my cousins, and in Brazil, like every police office, they're like, they do jiu-jitsu. That's the toughest thing to do, you see the police officers in Brazil, they're very intimidated, with the cauliflower ears on the shit. So he was like, yeah, you guys gonna do jiu-jitsu, you guys in vacation, just like playing, you guys gotta do something. I was like, no, man, but I just want to play soccer, He's like, no, you guys gotta go. And then it was like, shit, okay. And I started training jiu-jitsu for a month, and then they put me on the first competition after a month. I was like, what the heck? I went there, I got my ass kicked so bad. And I was like, shit, you know what, it's not that bad. And I was like, that day I realized, yeah, I'm gonna be good at this. I think I can be good at this. And I just started doing it every day. And man, it is. And with the, that's a good question about like, when did you decide to be a world champion, decide to have jiu-jitsu in your life? Man, it just came from like, I'm just gonna be a world champion. That's what I didn't have like anything going on of like, I don't know, like, what do you expect to start doing jiu-jitsu? I was like in a small town where, you have no opportunities. And then I was like, I'm going to be good at this. I'm going to be a world champion one day. I don't know how, but I will.
I love it. You convince yourself first.
Yes.
Anyone.
I was just have that thought in my mind. It's just, I'm going to be a world champion. I'm going to be a world champion in jiu-jitsu one day. And then, but I never have those things of like, why? Why you want to be a world champion? I don't have why. I just decided to stick with that, and then now I'm here.
I love that. That's crazy. Eh? No, sometimes when you put it that simply, that's the case. Like, I think we put a lot of weight, we put a lot of pressure on some of these situations that we're trying to chase. But then when you kind of trust the process, and you focus on what does it take to be a champion, right? Like, I love how, like, man, the mindset of, okay, if I was champion right now, how would I show up to practice? If I was already champion, how would I be training? Like, those are things I'm starting to tell myself, where it's like, what would a champion do in this situation? And it's like, man, well, instead of thinking I'm gonna, like, I think I could become it, or I'm trying to, that's what I'm trying to wire my brain that way.
Man, it's, show up.
Exactly.
There's nothing, like a lot of people, like, oh, but what does it take to be? It's like, man, you just gotta show up. A lot of people, man, that's hard to start. Like, oh, I'm tired today. I don't feel like it because I might get beat up. Man, fuck it. Show up, man. Just go there, get your ass kicked, but show up and do your best. If you be at home, like, this is not gonna change anything. Like, this is what I carry from me. That's what it makes me. But that's what it made me, be the person I am. Like, the athlete that I am today is showing up every day, no matter what, and show up and give you that discipline. Many times I thought, like, man, I'm gonna go out that shit, man, this guy's gonna beat me at training, I'm so tired, I'll beat up this and that. But just being there, like, it turns out like totally different. Like, I was like, actually, it wasn't that bad. Actually, and I always thank myself for that. That's like after the end of the practice, and I thank myself for showing up and doing that, because if you don't have that discipline, you won't. It doesn't matter. They can put you like to train, like the training can be 6, 9, 10, 11 p.m. whatever time, but if you're not able to show up to any of the times, you're not going to show up to none of them. If you don't have the discipline to show up to the training and pay the price, man, I'm sorry, you can't be a world champion like that. You can't achieve things in life if you don't commit it to it. I tell this to my friends. I tell the person. I know it's hard to listen to that, but man, that's what it takes. Like, oh, but people like, man,
Yeah, man. I think a big turning point for me was when my coach just told it to me straight up. He's like, man, I'm gonna tell you to it straight. He's like, I don't think you're gonna like hearing this, but he's like, I feel like you need to hear it. And he's like, I feel like you care too much about how you look. Like, he's like, you like the idea of telling the world, you're going to this competition, you're going to that, oh, like, hair's proper in the training. Like, he's like, man, like, don't, like, who fucking cares?
Yeah, who cares?
He's like, you like, just focus on the craft. Like, stop being so distracted by the noise and what it could possibly come with. And like, man, I really like appreciated him saying that, because for one, I know he wouldn't tell me that if he didn't care, because he saw my interest. But it allowed me to look in the mirror and be like, yeah, like, I need to be doing this for the right reasons. And yeah, fuck how I look. Like, we got to go out, we got to show up, and we got to know, like, really looking at my jiu-jitsu in a way where at this level now, it's like, hey, can I think of being put in every possible scenario, and do I know how to get out, and do I know what to do? And so, when you share that and talk about showing up and like, like whatever time it is, and, whatever you need to do, that should just be, once again, part of the process of being like, hey, this is what needs to be done. And if it's not done, never regretting that you never showed up to that practice that you should have. Right? Because come game day, like, that's when you take everything that you were kind of putting together to go and do in the first place.
Time doesn't go back, man. Man. And then sometimes it might be too late for you. It's like, oh, I'm gonna start this. Like, we were talking about this. Like, oh, you just got to do it, right? That's what we're talking about. You just got to do it. And
just do it.
Yeah. It's the same of the thing, man. If you're taking too long, keep procrastinating. Man, when's gonna be there? Like, in 30 years, like, when already old, all this stuff. Like,
and I think, man, like, I think in this day and age, we see a lot of that, because everything we see now, we open up our phone, everything just looks polished. So we get in our head, we compare. Like, I don't look like this guy.
Yeah.
So, you expect me to go to Worlds? I don't look like that guy.
Exactly.
But it's like, man, like, how many times does it take for that person to edit that video? It's just, you just keep getting your reps in, right?
Yes, correct.
Do you have any, Lucas, like, I don't know, like a habit or ritual, like anything that you do before competition or on the day or even in camp, where you're like, man, like, it's a small little thing I do, but I do it, and I need to do it because it's a force of habit, and it helps.
Yeah, I like to be myself.
Yeah.
I like to be this guy here. Like, that's what I like to do. If I feel that I'm too tense, like, oh, competition's coming. Like, some people, they just isolate themselves, and then just, like, they don't talk to friends. I have friends like this. I don't judge them. It's like the way that they like to, is the ritual.
Hoodie up.
Yeah, hoodie up, start looking mean, all the shit. That I do have my time for that, but I do like to be very relaxed. For me, like, if I feel relaxed, I feel that I'm good over there. When you know, like I don't like feel tense out the stuff. So if I'm like before competition, I can get to laugh out with my friends, try to forget about, you know, who I'm gonna fight tomorrow or this and that. I would do it. And the tournament as well. It's just like, man, you gotta build your mind. You know, like, okay, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna do my best, I'm gonna fuck everybody up, even if you don't. But you have to have that mindset, you know. And when you go out there, and I just try to be myself, you know, just try to be in the environment. I be present, but I was trying to loosen up. I don't like to feel too tense, but I like to, you know, this is my routine. Try to be myself. It's you know, hanging out with friends, laughing, you know, having a good time. That's me. That's me. But no good time, but not partying it. You know, not partying like before competition. Like some people, they do, you know, they used to party and then go to the like, you know, like a week before this and that. I was like, man, these guys are crazy.
Yeah, man. I think Ipia, who just fought Volkanovski. Am I saying his name right?
Who?
Are you familiar with the guy that just fought Volkanovski for the title?
Yeah, Ilya.
Ilya, yeah, not Ipia. Yeah, Ilya, I believe.
Yeah.
You know what he said about like drinking before a comp? He said actually the night before weigh-ins, he drinks about 2 liters of wine and gets fucked up.
Yeah, and pass out.
But he says it helps with like dehydration in a way. But it's like, yo, I heard that. I was like, I can't believe like that works.
Yeah, it does.
You
yeah.
know? But like it's interesting, right? Then the other side is John Jones talked about how he used to drink before his fights, and he used that as a mental trick to go, if I lose, then I won't feel so bad because I know I messed up. Kind of a weird,
it's kind of
like
weird.
psychological twist. But man, like going back to the point of you're prepared as ever, and then not doing those things, how much better you're gonna show up.
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
Even for me, man, like I kind of look at that 6 weeks out. Like
the mind is crazy. I do think that, you know, like there's ways that you can distract yourself from competition. Drinking can be one of them if they want to. And I don't think like whatever like drinking that you do like can affect that much your,
like,
you know, because man, there's a time that I compete, you know, like that. I'm not proud of it, but I have like this big super fight, you know. I had a super fight, and then a week before I went to Brazil and spent 3 days in Carnival just drinking and partying. It was like for 3 days, like very like not sleeping, you know. And then I went all the way there and to the fight, and I felt good, and I beat the guy up. And
there you go.
Yeah, and the fight to win, and it was crazy. This is one of the craziest stories like that I have in my career. But I don't think I would do that ever again, you know. But I was like, only. Yeah, one time I just experienced, but I felt pretty good. And you know, but you have these things, and you know, like the mind. I think you got to do whatever feels good for you to go out there. You know, like for me, I have my ritual, I have the way that I go there to show up and you know, perform well. 100%. You have your own style. Other people have their own style, so just got to do whatever your mind says. Yeah, it works for you.
So true. I always like I find I tell my students when they ask me like what to do to prepare, and I just say, you know, try and emulate very similar experiences the day of the competition as you would the day of when you go show up to practice. So yeah, maybe you come, you work, and then you go to practice, but think about what you do before you go show up for practice, what you do after. Maybe it's a snack you have. Maybe it's the same training partners you talk to. Yeah. Right? You come to the gym, hey, you talk to your teammates. And then maybe it's also the songs you listen to, right? On the way, the drive over, like just set yourself in a position where the familiarity is going to make you feel more at peace with yourself. And I find, man, like I've even noticed some people, they put too much hype around, you know, people watching the competition, you know, the stage, the opponent, who are they, what's their Instagram, like, you know. I used to that was me even before, and now I'm like, yo man, like the way I show up to training, I picture it as a fun thing. I go in like joyfully. So I want to do the same thing, like, you know, going into a tournament. And Cobrinha talked about this, you know. I did at one of his seminars, and it was cool, man. He's like, I love the way he said it, right? He's like, how much energy, you know, you waste just getting yourself bumped. He's like, then you go, like, you fight the guy. He's like, you're already exhausted. He's like, man, similar to you. He's like, go, like, be relaxed, you know, like, have fun, talk to your teammates. And then when you step on the mats, then you tell yourself, okay, now I'm going to fucking fight.
Yeah.
I love that, man.
That's
Ever
how it
since
is.
he
You have-
said that, I like, it kind of changed things for me.
You have
I'm
to
like,
know how to flip that, you know?
Yeah, man.
So,
Right? That's so cool, man. That's
That is-
jiu-jitsu right
that is
there, right?
jiu-jitsu, yeah.
What's Lucas Barbosa's life like when you're not doing jiu-jitsu, man? Like, do you ever shut the brain off? You know, like me and my brother, he always laughs at me. He's like, man, you're sitting there flipping through TikToks, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, you're watching like soap operas. But I'm like, man, like, I work all day, train all day.
Yeah.
By the end of the night, I just want to watch my soap operas and my
good.
TikTok, right?
Yeah.
What do you do to shut your brain off, or do you?
Yeah, I do. I don't actually, you know, most of our life is, you know, it's talking about jiu-jitsu, be around jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And, you know, I try always to, you know, get good conversation with people and, you know, try to avoid, you know, jiu-jitsu as much as I can.
Yeah,
Like, force, you want to, this is the talking with jiu-jitsu, like when somebody like knows jiu-jitsu, it's a good way for you to find, to know the person. But also, you know, I like doing all the stuff outside of jiu-jitsu. Just like it says, like I want to do something, you know, like that's not related. Because tomorrow I'm gonna leave that again. Yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna leave that again. Not that I love jiu-jitsu, but I don't want to just, you know, there's so much stuff out there, you know, for you to learn, for you to talk about, that I want to be able to find things like that to do. And I like to, you know, I was being able to distract and learn different things. I like to read. I like to snowboard. You know, that's one of the things that I started doing over there, you know, and in Eugene, Oregon, because, you know, sometimes I used to go to the beach and just relax and meditate a little bit, you know, but yeah, I like hanging out with friends, you know, family too. I like hanging out with my family, you know, just be in the environment, laughing, eat a lot when I can,
food, right?
You know, cooking.
Yeah,
It's
Barbosa's buffet.
Yeah, it's coming soon. It's coming. Barbosa's buffet is coming. Yeah, I started actually enjoying a lot more like cooking. I'll say I cook decently, but, you know, I want to be able to improve in that area, because for me it's like a type of meditation, you know, like
big time.
I feel so proud every time I make some good food. Like, ooh, look at this. Like, ooh.
Yeah, man. Like, I find, you know, Preeti and I, my girlfriend, we did like this, like 6-course entree grease dish. Like, we cooked it.
Oh.
It was a cool little date we did, right? I recommend you guys do something like that.
Yes.
You find a place to cook food, and man, like, it's a fun thing to do with your significant other, but it's also like, I was telling Preeti too, I was like, I have so much respect for our parents now, because you know, like Indian family, you know, mom cooks the meals, and like we get used to it even in our adult life, right? I'm like, okay, I could train more, come home to a full cooked meal, right? Bless my mom for that. But man, like, I'm just going to her, I'm like, yo, like the effort, you know, like the time, the love you put into these type of dishes. You know, you cook 3-4 hours to eat for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah, right.
But like, when you think about it, man, like, I feel like it's cool to connect to certain cultures out there, because I think it stems from the food, because you start recognizing, like, man, like, I'll give you an example. You go to Morocco. When I went there, man, they have a place called Agadir. And Agadir, that's where Moroccan oil is extracted. It's the one and only place on earth where you can actually get Moroccan oil. So a lot of companies out there, they actually say they have it, but they don't really have the true essence of the organic Moroccan oil. And this is something, man, that, like, you know, culturally they put on their skin for like good, like, as a moisturizer. They also put in their food.
Oh, really?
Right? And they cook food with it. And it's like, man, like, I remember going there, and like there was a group of women that they call them cooperatives, and they're all like creating a line of extracting it from the tree to like cracking the nut to shaking it. And I'm just seeing how it's all being unfolded. But for me, going back to like the essence of the culture, it's like, it's something they put a lot of love into, and they recognize that, like, if they don't have this, it's what they use for a lot of things. So they start to kind of, in a way, not only respect nature more, but the food that they're eating.
Uh-huh.
You know, like culturally, man, like even being Indian, like we love our food, man.
Yeah.
Like even to the point we start eating with our hands
Uh-huh.
and just different ways of experiencing
Yes.
food, you know?
It is. I like to doing that too. You know, like when it start, like this is the good thing about like doing seminars around. You get to understand people's culture, you know, and then
Big time, man.
been to many places, you know, and around the world, and you know, they always like, yeah, man, try this is our best. They always want you like to feel that, you know, like
that's
that
nice.
feeling, like this is ours. Like, yeah, sure, man. Just like today, it's like you gotta try this. You know, I was like, yeah, of course, because this is what you want to do, want to experience. You know,
Just so everyone knows, we're in Canada. If you could guess the 2 places we took Lucas to, Tim Hortons and Booster Juice. I was just raving it, man. I was like, it's Canada only. Canada only. Right? But no, that's good, man. It's good to taste different types of stuff, right?
And learn about cultures. It's a great thing. It's something really good.
What books did you last recently read? You said you're getting into reading too.
Yeah.
What kind of books are you reading?
Man, I'm reading the Obstacles the Way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've been going around some personal growth, some business attitude, trying to like learn a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel listening to a lot of podcasts too, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, but I've been trying to find time to do all of this.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's a tough because spend
No.
like the whole day pretty much at the gym. and
I
trying-
notice, man. It's like there's that concept of I'm
Yeah.
on the business, I'm coach mode. Then there's like the back end side of things,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like, okay, like now I gotta small little things like
Yeah.
someone's interested in joining the gym, gotta call them, gotta
Yeah,
book them
I
in.
know.
And what I'm trying to do, man, I notice for me is like when I'm on my drives, that's my time to call people. That's like my
yeah,
admin
drive.
calling
Oh,
time when
yeah.
I'm driving,
Uh-huh.
right? But I know what you mean, man. It's like you wake up one day and you're like, what do I focus on today? Do I focus on
Yes.
building someone? Do I bring someone
Exactly.
new in, or do I
Yeah.
take time to talk to my current
And, yeah,
students?
and this is one of the things that I'm starting like getting back because there's so many things for me to focus on, and I just have to organize those little things and when I'm gonna finish this book, when I'm gonna start
Yeah.
listen to this podcast here, like so.
It just
yeah.
feels like you're just spinning just a lot of different plates.
Yes,
And if one is
yes.
slowly
And
not
sometimes-
spinning anymore, you kind of bring your
I was
attention
like, should
back
I
to
wake
it.
up earlier now? Because that's the start. I started doing this. I started like waking up earlier now because it's like, man, I don't have time to clean my house.
Yeah.
Man, what the heck? So maybe I have to start waking up early and start like cleaning a little bit, so I can do this and that, work on this, work on that. But man, you never find time.
Yeah.
It's like
It's tough, man.
for me, it is tough. For me, like I have a lot of things going on, and then when you want to be, the best where you want to that you are, you consistently working.
Big time.
Like there's no time for lazy people, man.
Well,
Lazy
I mean,
people don't achieve things.
That's the
in
thing,
life.
man. I know you're not slowing down anytime soon. You recently just announced that you're
Yeah.
going for the 4th Pan American Championship.
Yes,
So we
I'm
know that's gonna
excited.
go down,
Yeah,
man. And
let's go.
what kind of motivated you to do that? I mean, if you don't mind me picking your brain about that a little bit, whether it was already on the horizon or not. I remember when you posted that, you captioned something very specific, and it, I believe, had to kind of do with kind of shutting down the haters or silencing potentially people who might have said things or gotten in the way of you feeling like you gotta, prove to yourself and others what's up. But was that kind of, if you mind sharing, did that come from a place of?
I like like what I post is like this is what happened when people doubt me, and I show like the pictures of my last double gold.
I love that.
Pan Ams. And I was being like that. People was like, oh, this is the Hulk. I don't know. He might not win. I'm never the favorite. Sometimes like I'm always the underdog. And then that's
Which is surprising. Surprising.
Yeah. I would say like I'm always, because there's always people, always like good people competing, people I was expecting for them to win. And then most of the things when I started like being the underdog, and I was like, I like that. I like that pressure. I like feeling that way. And for this is the same. I feel because like I haven't competed in a while on the gi, and then I don't think people believe me when I put over there my name, and that's what I wanted to listen. That's wanted to think about it. Just keep doubting me, and I'll show you wrong.
Definitely silence a few people,
Yeah.
man. And I know come you know, Pan Am time. It's gonna be so exciting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be having my popcorn bag
Hey,
ready. You know, I'm
it's
gonna be
gonna be-
watching it
gonna
with
be
my
there.
team.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's gonna be really exciting to
Yeah,
see you back in the
this
gi,
year
man.
I'm planning to compete more often. You know, I was trying to do that transition to the MMA, but you know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a different world. You know, and then like I feel that right now because there's ADCC, and I want to really focus on that. And then I want to compete. I want to be active. I don't want to just compete like a few. I want to compete as much as I can and bring experience again. And because there's a time that I was just like doing super fights. It is cool. And I like fighting at IBJJF. And, you know, the title is, you know, it's very, you're going out there and fighting with the best guys in the gi. And it's something like that I appreciate. It makes me go back in those days. Because, yeah, I want to keep doing that. I'm young, man. You know, there's a lot of things there's a long road still. And I just want to be out there, testing myself against those guys.
Big time, bro.
You know, show them the Hulk's still here.
100%, man. I know. I'm so excited to see you throw down, man. And
Yeah.
once again, you know, I just want to take the time, man, to thank you so much for, you know, really being real, man. And like just being yourself and being able to share some of your experiences and moments. And, you know, biggest thing I really like out of this, man, is when some people look at someone as a champion and they think that it's all this person lives and breathes. I really like towards the end, man, where you shared like, man, like you have a life too. You know, you like to do other things outside of jiu-jitsu, and there's things about you that I hope other people that are listening, that are fans of you, got to kind of learn more about, you know. So
yeah, a lot of people don't see this part of me, like, yeah, man, sometimes like they know how cool you are sometimes. It's like, I'm not the coolest person, but man, people have totally like a different image of me, you know, when they see me at a tournament. Sometimes just like angry, or just I don't like sometimes talking to people that I don't know. I talk to people and my friends, but most of the time people just see me over there like just being that angry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, man, like I think that's the thing about kind of naturally the like two things is the caliber of the sport we play, like then like how you perform. Like people are seeing your highlight reels and like
yeah, I know.
It's like, hey, that's me when I'm competing. But now it's like, hey, like I'm a human as well. And I think that's what's exciting too, because I really like for people to see who the true essence of who a person is. You know, and I know, man, you're authentically being yourself on and off camera, and it's just nice, man, to be able to see like, you know, like how genuine you are. And I think people can recognize that you could switch that. You don't always have to be this person that people perceive you to be. You know?
Correct. Yeah. No, this is a good thing about like today. Like there's a lot of people, there are a lot of people that they don't show their personality, you know, like mostly is on the competition, you know, but man, you gotta, you know, just be yourself. I still not the same. Like I think on the Instagram, I try to look a little bit, you know, the same. Like show like my posts is always like beating people up. I think that's how people see about me.
It's like your
But,
jiu-jitsu
you know,
accolades.
Yeah,
right?
but this is why, you know, the podcast is like, you know, this is like one of the ways that people can understand like about people's life and how they actually are.
So true,
like,
man.
You know, so
I agree. This
that is pretty cool.
That's how I feel with us even doing this, man. Like to go back 5 years and sometimes hear and see the things I was saying, and like just even like look and see the journey. Like it's like my diary, man.
Insane, yeah. I used to see Galvão, you know, Jacare. Those like my biggest idols, and I used to see it only then on TV, and then, man, and as soon as like I started hanging out with, you know, Galvão, I was like, man, Galvão's so funny. Like he's like the nicest guy you ever met. He's like that guy, man. You know, he's like a friend, like he's a mentor, he's a friend. You know, and
I love that, man.
it's a guy that I always look up to, you know, and it's cool. You know, you have people like that are surround you, and then it's like learning about like those people. It's pretty cool for me. I was like, man,
absolutely.
Yeah, so yeah, man, it's crazy because I used to see Jacare all the time on TV. I was like, man, I used to get nervous like when I talk to him, like take a photo. And today, sometime I see him, he's like, hey, what's up, champ? And I start talking. It's like, oh man, it's like my idol. So, like, start crying a little bit.
Of you.
Yeah, he's like, I watched your match. I was like, did you? It was like inside of me, it was just like
I hope you liked it.
Yeah, I was just screaming, and you know.
Man, I love that, man.
It is insane, man.
That's wicked, brother. Well, you know what? I know there's going to be lots of people who want to potentially, learn more about where they could find you and learn more about how they could follow your journey. So is it cool if you share with our audience where they can find you online or even connect with you?
Yes, of course. Follow me on Instagram, Lucas Barbosa, JJ. Lucas Hulk Barbosa is my Facebook the fan page. And soon, the Barbosa's Buffet.
Exactly.
The Barbosa's Buffet. But man, anytime you guys also in Eugene, Oregon, come visit. Anyone, if you guys, want to see Eugene, we have some really good training, some group of people over there. The team is growing a lot. Just like I said, I'm building my competition team because I'm always San Diego, Eugene, some hours this transition. I want to be always over there,
Of course.
And people, anytime you guys are traveling, come to Eugene, Oregon, Atos Northwest, representing the Northwest.
Hey,
okay, so we're close to you guys. Atos close to you guys.
You got it, brother. We're gonna make sure we make it out.
Yes,
and once again, brother, thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
I've been spending the whole day with Barbosa. And his
it looks like we're on a week already.
Exactly. We have a whole itinerary set. And coming up next, we got we're gonna go eat. And then we're going to go have Barbosa seminar. So let's do it, man. Thank you so much. Bless you. If you feel like this was something that, a training partner or coach of yours or friend needs to listen to, then please feel free to share it. Like, share, and subscribe on the Second Floor Podcast. And